non-Chicago homicide investigations, non-police surveillance releases. Every frame reveals only part of the story. Some of this footage gets too graphic to show in full on YouTube. For the uncut videos and the case files behind every story, go to TopTrendReportTV.com. The first case began in Little Village on December 19, 2025. Police said 24-year-old Itzel Gomez was riding home from work when gunfire struck the car. She was shot in the back of the head and died 3 days later. Chicago police released the surveillance and asked for help identifying the person tied to the fatal shooting. The video shows a figure running into frame, raising a gun, and moving backward out of view. It does not identify who was inside the car, and police have not announced an arrest. 6 weeks earlier, another Little Village camera recorded the movements outside Joyeria Angelo's on West 26th Street. Police said an armed robbery ended with the fatal shootings of the store's owners, 63-year-old Faustino Alamo Dominguez and his 25-year-old son, Luis Angel Alamo. The surveillance follows a person outside the jewelry store before the camera loses the action beyond its frame. In February, 35-year-old Muhammad Thomas was arrested in St. Louis and charged with both murders. A criminal charge is an allegation, not a conviction, and the case must be decided in court. 13 days after the jewelry store killings, the next release moved downtown. 14-year-old Armani Floyd was shot and killed in the 100 block of South Dearborn Street. An 18-year-old man was wounded. Investigators published this surveillance image of a person of interest in the shooting. That term matters. The video identifies someone detectives wanted to locate and speak with. It does not establish that person's guilt. By March, the camera shifted to West Belmont Avenue. Alexander Xander Kazanowski was 25. Police said he was found unresponsive after an assault outside the tune-up bar and later died from blunt force injuries to his head. The surveillance shows 4 people entering the bar. Police released their images because investigators wanted to identify and speak with them. Their appearance in the video is evidence of presence, not proof that any one of them committed the homicide. On April 22nd, gunfire tore through a busy stretch of 26th Street in Little Village. Antonio Coco Padilla, a 46-year-old fruit vendor and father of 5, was killed. 3 women were wounded. Neighbors said Padilla's wife and 1-year-old son were only steps away. The police release follows a white car and masked people recorded at a nearby gas station before the shooting. Different camera angles preserve their clothing, the vehicle, and their movements, but the footage alone cannot supply a motive or a conviction. Less than 3 weeks later, a camera on South Ewing Avenue recorded a masked person minutes before 3 men were shot. 28-year-old Lisandro Rios Ortiz was wounded on May 11th and died 1 week later. 2 other men survived, one with critical injuries. The person in the release is described by police as the suspected gunman. No verified photograph of Ortiz was found for this production, so the victim is represented here by the location and the official surveillance, not by an unverified face. One release reaches back to August 25th, 2024. At about 2:30 in the morning on North Harding Avenue, 32-year-old Joel Cardenas was shot in the head and later died. A 19-year-old man was shot in the back. A woman was hurt by broken glass. The surveillance preserves a person walking near a light-colored sport utility vehicle. Police describe both the person and vehicle as suspected in the homicide. Cardenas has no verified public portrait in the sources reviewed for this film. On June 25th, 2026, 2 men were shot behind a residential building on West Cahill Terrace. Family members identified 19-year-old Carlos Miguel de Gante as one of the victims. He died just days before his 20th birthday. The second man has not been publicly named in the reliable reporting reviewed for this production. The police video follows several people of interest across multiple cameras. Their faces, clothing, and direction of travel may be useful to investigators, but the release does not turn any person shown into a convicted offender. The final case is the longest release, and the point where this compilation stops showing everything. Just after 12:20 in the morning on July the 2nd, 4 people were standing outside a gas station in the 7600 block of South Halstead Street. Police said 4 attackers approached and opened fire. 53-year-old Sabaz Clark and 46-year-old Carlos A. Jones were killed. A 35-year-old woman and a 33-year-old man were critically wounded. The attackers fled south through an alley. The surveillance records the approach from more than one angle. At the moment the attack begins, this edit cuts away from footage YouTube cannot show in full. Watch the full uncut footage and explore the sourced case files, evidence vault, and continuing updates at TopTrendReportTV.com. What remains on screen are fragments, a face, a vehicle, a route a few seconds before or after violence. What remains off screen are the lives those cameras could not preserve: Faustino, Luis, Armani, Itzel, Xander, Antonio, Lisandro, Joel, Carlos Miguel, the second man on Cahill Terrace whose name has not been released, Sorbez, Carlos. Their cases are more than surveillance clips. See the full uncut footage, sourced case files, evidence vault, and continuing updates at TopTrendReportTV.com.